Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Today we're going to do a video about a topic that has been much requested. What do all the letters and other weird symbols painted under the bridge mean? And for today's video, we've been planning on doing this for a while. We planned on doing it outside on the pier, pointing up at it. It's snowing today. I just spent an hour outside laying salt on the pier. So I'm going to weatherman this, and we're doing it in front of our gorgeous green screen. Nowadays, these symbols are called Command Effectiveness Awards. However, during the battleship's career, they would have been Command Excellence Awards. They're one of three types of symbols that typically show up on the bridge wings. First, you've got your ribbon board, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about that in a previous video, but if not, we'll do it at some point in the future. Then you've got your kill board. Missouri and Wisconsin both have kill boards on display from the Gulf War. In both of their cases, they represent mines that were destroyed. The Iowas also had kill boards during World War II. And we've actually found a picture of New Jersey's World War II kill board, and we might cover that in a future video too. These Command Effectiveness or Command Excellence Awards are typically for specific jobs, usually departmental things, and usually you can tell by the color and the letter what they're for. So for example, this is the Battleship New Jersey. You'll notice that there is a red DC painted on the bridge wing. Red is the engineering color. Damage control, of course, is what DC is. Damage control falls under the engineering department, so that's why it's red. Everything makes sense so far. Battleship New Jersey was a crack damage control ship, particularly in the 80s. Her crew excelled at it. They went through and installed extra damage control lockers. We actually had a former sailor tell us recently that it was because the fuel level indicators on Broadway just weren't that great anymore at the end of the ship's career. So they tended to overfill the fuel tanks, which then put flammable liquid on the deck and in other spaces. So the damage control parties were always responding to that. Regardless, the ship's DC parties were pretty well drilled. These awards are for a single year. At the end of that year, they are painted off the side of the ship unless the ship earns another one. If we earn 2 DC awards, then we get a stripe under it. So for Battleship New Jersey, we have 1 stripe under there. So we won it 2 years in a row. Who did we win it against? Typically, you compete against your own squadron mates. By the modern Navy, squadrons tend not to be like they would have been in the old Sail Navy day where you just take a pickup team of ships and put them under a Commodore and put them out there. In the modern Navy, a squadron tends to be a group of similar ships that are combined primarily for maintenance reasons. So, for example, New Jersey and Missouri, they're not going to operate together most of the time. One will be in port for maintenance, one will be deployed, but administratively they tend to be grouped as a squadron because they have the same maintenance requirements, the same size pier that they need. They share the same dry dock, that sort of stuff. And so they compete against each other. Because the Iowa-class battleships only numbered 2 in each ocean, I don't know if they were only competing against each other. So, for example, New Jersey and Missouri would have won all the awards, and just they're competing against each other, or if they would have been combined with cruisers and destroyers Pacific Fleet. Certainly for larger exercises, they were combined with them, but I'm not sure for award purposes. So if nothing else, New Jersey is better at damage control than Missouri, possibly better than all the cruisers and destroyers that were operating with her at that time. I'm also not sure how these awards worked back when there was a sole Iowa in the fleet. So, for example, New Jersey was the only one in the Pacific until 1986 when Missouri is commissioned, and then Missouri is the only one in 1991 after New Jersey's decommissioned, and until 1992 when she herself is decommissioned. Iowa was the only one in the Atlantic from 84 until 88, so I'm not entirely sure who they compete against in that instance. I believe it is possible that you can essentially just be competing against yourself. Do you do this job well throughout the year, or do you not? There are several different metrics that are used to evaluate how well you do, including things that you achieve in drills and other such stuff. Our next award is a red E. So again, red means engineering department, and typically the E is an overall efficiency or excellence for that entire department. So New Jersey's propulsion department was the best, at least among the ships that she's competing against, which makes sense given that she's the fastest battleship of all times. The battleship also has several white E's around the ship. There's one on Sky 1, the forward main battery director. There's one on Turret 2, the forward superfiring 16-inch turret. And there's one on Mount 51, the forward starboard side 5-inch gun. These means that those fire control and gunner's mates earned excellences. And again, I'm not entirely sure if this is just competing against all the other guns on the ship or in the entire squadron. So whether, say, Turret 3's excellence is just the best of those 3 turrets or the best of the 6 turrets in the Pacific Fleet. And likewise with that 5-inch 38 and the director. So that's another possible way. You're competing against the other teams on your own crew. New Jersey also has a green C for communications excellence. I like to think that our volunteers keep this award alive to this day, because in theory, when New Jersey's mothballed, all of this gets painted over. But because we're interpreting the ship around 1990 during her last active tour of duty, we repainted the awards that were there at that time. Our radio club has long held a leading role among museum ship radio clubs and puts on every year Museum Ship Radio Weekend. And so they certainly earn that green C in my book. Her next award is an interesting one. I had to ask some 1980 sailors about this one because there is a list of these you can find online, and this particular one isn't on there. It looks like a hollow helm wheel with like crossed dumbbells or something else like that in the middle. So what we believe that this one is the Navigation and Seamanship Award. So that is pretty much your deck department earns that as a whole department. So your quartermasters who are steering the ship and your seamanship, your line handling, all of that sort of stuff. Nowadays, that award is just a regular silhouette of a helm wheel, like a traditional spoked pirate ship wheel, like is the logo for quartermasters, and it is just called the Navigation Award. And our last award is the, I'm going to call it an atomic symbol just because it's got those like electron fields wrapped around it. I don't know what the right words are for that. All my high school science teachers who just shed a single tear, I really apologize. I tried to pay attention, but science has never been my topic. That is for electronic warfare excellence. Remember earlier when I said each consecutive year that you get it, you earn a different stripe under your award. If you win it 5 years in a row, so you'll never see more than 4 stripes, on your 5th one, instead of doing the old tally marks where the 5th one goes through it, the 5th one, much like the ribbons that you wear on your uniform, becomes a star that is then placed over the award. So what other sort of features on the outside of the ship do you guys have questions about? This video topic was brought up because you guys have asked about it. So let us know in the comment section down below if there's any other sorts of things. And for those of you who served, what did your commands excel at? Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support. It's what gives us the time to go out and research this information to make these videos as opposed to shoveling snow. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about us in the museum. Thanks for watching.